Kirsty.
Hello.
So I live here. Sorry, I didn't see you the other night. Down.
Oh, I've got a few bits for you.
Sorry,
make sure you
don't worry
hang on.
about that. Don't worry about that at the moment.
Oh, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. I'll show you the other way.
Oh, no, I love living there. It's wonderful.
All right, there.
Okay, you can walk to the edge, so just bring forward on. Yeah, it comes to us.
Yeah.
Then you take yourself out of the way safely. Those are the position we'll take up when we're ready. Okay, thank you.
Special in honour of Dad. So I'll pass it over to you, please.
Just to let you know, after the service, if you all remain here until 12:30, we've got the BBMF Dakota flying over in memory of John. So it should be coming over from Coningsby in that direction. So they're doing that for us. So if you remain here until then to see that. As he worked on the Dakota, I thought it was a special occasion for him.
I think he would really appreciate that.
So
That's
that should be
incredible.
here in half an hour.
Thank you ever so much.
That's okay.
I'll try not to ramble on too long.
Yes. So if you want to get the cameras out, obviously.
Danny.
And also it's an unofficial flight
Dakota,
pass,
not
so if you
Lancaster.
please don't put it on social media or anything like that, because they're actually not supposed to do it, but they are doing it for
clever,
us,
aren't
sort of thing. So right, just keep it quiet, it's just a job.
Most of his songs and poems, he writes his name on and dates them, but I found this when I was going through his things and I thought it was really apt. So Jack would like to read it to you. Okay, and if you struggle then I'll help you, but that's fine. Say it really loud.
Times in my life keep changing as each day comes and goes. Some happiness, some sad times that everybody knows. But when we're all together, it fills me with a good cheer. And I'm always with you all, and likewise every year. And as the time is passing, some things begin to slow, and places that I've once visited are more difficult to go. But when I'm not there bodily, I'm always there in heart, so that I am with you all and likewise every year. But before my new life can begin, my old one so must end. The only thing to stay with me, the love of all my friends. So when you are together, you never need to fear, for I am always with you and likewise every year.
Isabel, is there anything you wanted to say about Grandpa?
Yeah.
Oh, come on then, up your hop. It's okay, you go and say what you want to say.
Grandpa, you're very silly.
Very silly. Oh. Okay, well, I guess that sums it up.
Can't top that.
Okay, that's a hard act to follow, that one.
Well done, Isabel.
Okay, so John Pye, the man, the myth, the legend. My dad was a unique concoction of contradictions. A simple farm boy, he would protest, and yet capable of composing the most original and creative music. Simple, and yet so complex. Not afraid of a hard day's graft, but unwilling to take instruction from anybody else. He needed total control, and yet was one of the most laid-back guys you could ever meet. Guarded, and yet so open and welcoming to one and all. sometimes stubborn, but incredibly sensitive. He used his own special language and spelling, which might give the impression of him not having a very good grasp of the English dictionary. Yet he was the author of insightful and descriptive prose, poems, songs, and even books. He made no sense, and yet, despite my protests, sometimes total sense. Old but eternally youthful. He was born into a farming family, and after attending agricultural college, he went into dairy farming. Then, after realising he couldn't stand working for other people, he built up a successful car business and even provided cars for films such as The Eagle Has Landed. He built several beautiful houses, including rebuilding Linwood, which was then nothing more than a derelict shell. Linwood is the house behind us. Living on the airfield, he was inspired to build the memorial and composed and recorded 2 albums. He worked as an extra in films and TV programmes, such as Peak Practice, if anyone remembers that. Continuing with his passion for music, but fighting against the recession in the 90s, he turned to busking on the streets, and he moved to Lincoln. He then moved next to Bouthham Park in Lincoln, which was where he had spent his childhood playing. His new house was only 2 streets away from the house in which he was born, on Rookery Lane. The last 20 years of his life were spent happily creating projects to provide for the local community. He put on festivals in Bouthham Park, trying to provide opportunities for everyone to get involved, and built the Beacon to celebrate the Queen's Golden Jubilee, the lighting of which was aired live on the BBC. In the last few years, he continued to create his music, write a stage play, help rebuild a Dakota, and built the gully in the park, which has brought so much joy to so many, but also made huge improvements to the environment. The one thing that was consistent was his love. His love for the natural world, his love for the wider community, and his love for those important to him personally. To have that love then envelop my children is something I will always be grateful for. My mum died before Jack and Isabel were born, but the love they had from my dad was powerful enough to leave a lasting impression on them for life, I have no doubt. The fact that they got to spend the last few days with their grandpa is something that will always inspire great pride and heartbreak in equal measure. Isabel made sure that he was surrounded and covered in as much of the natural environment as possible. She regularly changed the cooling cloth on his forehead to try and keep his soaring temperature down. Such acts of love and kindness from one so young was a thing of beauty. Jack, my dad's best friend and little mate, sat with his grandpa and endured the gut-wrenching pain to stay by his best friend's side until he took his last breath. No words can possibly do justice to how that felt to watch. As we stand here now, we are broken, but love is what will help us heal, and love is what will push us to follow in his footsteps and truly live our lives. I'm sure he would encourage you all to do the same. Thank you to each and every one of you. You have all played a part in the life of John Pye, and in my opinion, that's a pretty great thing to have been part of. Thank you.
For 7 years, but what lovely 7 years. Did lots of things. Anyway, here we go. Is the pathway dark and dreary? God's in his heaven. Are you heartsick, broken and weary? God's in his heaven. Dreariest road shall have an ending. Broken hearts are for God's mending. All's well, all's well, all's well. My name's Sam. I came into John's life about 30 years ago. When I was at junior school, I used to come to Linwood with Kirsty and Kirsty's sister, Angela. We used to come every weekend. And I remember him building this. We used to sit and watch him build it. And I remember we was quite fascinated by it. And one of the poems that he wrote was a poem for me, Kirsty and Angela. It's called Poem for the Kids. When you need a cuddle or simply need a hug, I'm always here now for you. Sit beside me on the rug. But when you come together, the problem I can see, that there is 3 of you and I've only got 2 knees. I need another person, someone who really cares. Then we've got room for the other one and 1 knee to spare. Thank you.
I know it's a very sad occasion, but I'm pretty sure John wouldn't want us all moping about. So I thought maybe we'd have 30 seconds round of applause for him just to celebrate his life and what he did. Thank you, everybody.
Sorry, there's just, well, the truth is, if I was to stand up here and read every poem he wrote, we'd be here for weeks. But there is one more thing that I'd like to read. It's called Perspective. When rising every morning, see the sun, then look again at evening when day is done. Without its shining light, we wouldn't be. Compare it to ourselves, both you and me. When troubles come to call, whate'er they be, they're always so much smaller than we see. We're blinded by the agony and pain, and not aware loss always leads to gain. It's not so much what happens, it's what we see. We're really less than acorns to the tree. When things come to confound us, better stare, not into the mirror, but in the air. A myriad stars, a myriad skies behold, then our problem now looks far less bold. And now, though at this time we cannot see, whatever comes for us is meant to be. Whatever hurt we feel now feels less cold. Our part in history will soon be old. So when beset with sorrow, have good cheer. It means that better times are very near. When rising in the morning, see the sun. Then look again at evening when day is done. Without its shining light, we wouldn't be. Compare it to ourselves, both you and me. Now consider this a bit of an open mic spot for anyone who wants to come up and say whatever they want to say about Dad, as long as it's nice.
And clean.
Anybody?
Go on then.
Yeah, go down.
Yeah. Well, I met John early 70s. We were in a band together, and he was incredibly encouraging, incredibly creative, and it was madness. I lived down Birchwood in Lincoln, and there I was in this estate, and all of a sudden, this 1950s Bentley, it's a very, very posh car, rolls up, and out pops John, and he played me some of his stuff, and it was absolutely lovely. And so we formed this band, and we were having a bit of fun and stuff. As bands do, we broke up, went our own separate ways, but remained friends. And if I was to list all the bits of advice he gave to me as a person, because one thing the music business is full of is rubbish. There's a better word for it really, but there's children here. So, and but he wrote above all that, he was very, very humble with his endeavours, and you know, as we've heard today, what he's actually achieved has been pretty good, and I just, you know, I'll miss his advice. It's really selfish, you know. I really miss his advice already. What he'd be saying to you now is, oh, why the glum faces? He'd be doing that. He'd be, you know, saying, all right, I'll see you soon, you know. And if that's encouraging, that's your own business. But he's, I've never met anybody like him, never ever will. So, you know, bye-bye, John.
Anybody else? No? Are we done?
We knew John when he was up here, when his house got fire and he lost everything. I turned up in a V8 Rover, and it drew his ear because he liked cars, and we had Diana Door's car there as well. He was doing up, and with him losing everything, he was still quite a humble man. And I worked as a joiner, and I went and got a load of glass, and we were sort of helping put his house back together a bit as he was patching holes in the roof and that. And he lived in a caravan at the time, and he was known as Rabbit Pie. And,
That's his email.
yeah, and I think he's still got it. But we had one of our kids had a huge Bugs Bunny, and he was pleased with that. We give him it. But I've known John and our paths crossed several times since then. I mean, I've from a joiner went to be a building control officer, but I never actually looked after John's work with him. But yeah, in some ways, the adversity we had with losing everything, it gave him the drive to start something new. So, but yeah, I love the guy.
Thank you for being part of his life.
I'll just say something as well.
Yeah.
As the ex-chairman of Friends of Motheringham Airfield, John did a lot for us. In my time there, he was always there, always helpful, always cheerful. A lot of people say, oh, it's no sooner said than half done. With John, it was no sooner said than done. He just got on with it. He didn't stand for bureaucracy, he didn't stand for idiots, he didn't suffer fools gladly, that's for sure, which is one of his attributes. And he built the memorials here, he built the memorials at the centre as well, and his work on the Dakota was amazing. We missed, but never forgotten.
I don't know if I can match all these voices from the past. Mine's more a voice from the present. John moved in next door to us 17 years ago. And if there's a tick list for good neighbour, he's got every box. He was a fantastic neighbour. Always looked out for us. And every time we sit in our conservatory, we'll remember that it's only level as John put the footings down. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, if at this side, if you just let your strap drop, please, move away. If you give me your straps at this side, well done.
So first up, we've got this band called Auto Rain, and they're from Lincoln. So a round of applause for Auto Rain.
Hello, big heads. You might have already seen us. you later.
I'm going to sing a few songs first of all that hopefully you'll all be able to sing along to. And it's not classical. You and me used to be together, every day together, always. I really feel that I'm losing my best friend. I can't believe this could be the end. It looks as though you're letting go. And if it's real, then I don't want to know. Don't speak, I know just what you're saying, so please stop it. Well, I don't know why I came here tonight, but I can see it makes no sense at all. Is it cool to go to sleep on the floor? Well, I know I just can't take it anymore. Clowns to the left, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
We import natural aloe products. The plant is actually Aloe ferox, which is an Aloe ferox plant which is indigenous to South Africa. And it's a totally natural product, and we do a healthcare range which includes a juice, detox pills and a diet range. We do a skincare range which includes all the skin cares, cleansers, toners, moisturisers, night creams, and we do a hair care range which includes shampoos, conditioners, and the aloe gels, which are very good, are in our skincare range as well. It sort of treats a multitude of conditions, from burns, other skin conditions, eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, anti-inflammatories. It contains the natural anti-inflammatories, natural plant steroids, a multitude of things. The skin creams, very good moisturisers, and sort of retain all the moisture in the skin. The hand creams, we do a natural and a perfumed range. It comes from the Aloe ferox plant, which is, there are many aloe plants, but this is just the one that's indigenous to South Africa. So it's purely found in South Africa, indigenous to South Africa, and we import it there from Cape Town. And we also do a bitter range, which is unique to Alcare, and the bitters are actually extracted from the plant and used, and they have natural antibiotic properties in them and antiseptic properties, which treat very specific skin problems, such as very bad dermatitis and eczema, and sort of psoriasis in the hair and things like that. So really bad skin conditions, which is very good because it's got the unique bitters in it, and that is unique to Alcare.
Watch and see.
Come on, Ronnie! Have you got everybody? Have you got everybody? Oh dear. How's she doing, Grandpa? Everybody's there? We're starting. It's a bit bumpy, like.
Sweet. So I'm on duty again tonight.
I understand, yes.
Well, I'm relying on you, Constable, to keep them quiet if there are any people. Do you think there'll be people watching along this road?
Lots and lots.
Go on now! Follow me! Follow me! Yes, it's fun, yes! Front, yes! Front, yes, yes!
Are you in charge of this lot?
I think about that.
do. Yes.
Well, I am a night nurse.
Oh, wonderful.
I've
Nothing.
been on duty all night.
Shh. I've had an idea. Coronation cups. Pass them down. Nice coronation cups and a lovely orange. Susan. What we do, because we haven't got any flags, but we've got coronation cups, we'll wave them when the Queen comes by. Everybody have a practice. Ready? All together now. Hey! Oh, that's better. Your oranges now.
Always prepared, a scout. Oh, yes, you see that? Oh, yes. Top class, you see. Multi-use right nerve preparation. That's the key.
Well, it's very nice. Very busy.
Come on, Elsie, what are you doing?
I'd murder for a cup of tea.
You didn't always get this one. Hey?
Give us some tissue.
You're peeling in a bin or in your pocket because we don't want. We don't want we see litter everywhere. Do.
Don't mess about with it.
Is there something, madam?
Have you looked at your helmet recently, officer?
Seagulls.
I'm not quite this tall. There you go, that's better. Okay, well, another calling. Can we have the Catriona duo over here, please?
say, we're off on television.
Alright.
Right. You're supposed to be looking at me, dear. Okay. You are a very impulsive man. You jump into situations and wish you hadn't, you see. You just volunteered for this. Money runs in and out your hands, dear. It does not seem to stay in. Sorry, this is you. Don't give that about women. Don't mean you don't care. It means you don't let them rule you. Okay? Also, you are a very sensitive person. People say things to you that go deep, but you don't like them to know they've hurt you. So you hide it. Because if you know they let them know you've hurt you, they'll have another go. You've also got a very good head on your shoulders. Not that you always use it wisely, but you have. You've got a break in your lifeline down there. That does not mean you're not going to live a long time. It means there's a major change in your life at that time. It also shows there's travel on your hands. Money will be in your hands at a later date, not at the moment. Soft as a brush, family-minded, a nice, warm, passionate nature. Tend to be a bit of a dreamer, build sandcastles in the air. In your past, you've actually felt like a prisoner. You weren't one, it was just a prisoner of circumstances. Okay? Also went through a period of your life where life was threatened in some way. You would never have died from it because your hand shows you'd recover anyway. And it also says here that you have now got behind you. Can you not put too much pressure on your mind? Because if you do, you'll end up with a breakdown of some kind. So try to take things a bit easier than you have been doing. All right? When you listen, it's just as good a form of healing as anything else. Okay? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Right. It seems here that you've got some kind of addiction in your life. I don't mean drug addiction. It means it's part of your life you can't live without. Like my work, I can't live without. There's something in your life you can't work out either. Turn your hands over, dear. It shows you're too outspoken for your own good. You tell them all what you think like a lump, but at least everybody knows where they stand with you. You're very honest. You can't abide liars. Thieves you lock up, liars you can't, and they cause more damage. It says here, no matter what you do, you'll always be given a helping hand. There's always people you can turn to. You do tend to lack moral courage, though. You're very good at shouting for others, but not much good for shouting for yourself.
Tell your brother, sister, they can come too, 'cause I'm rolling down, 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 down to the river, baby. I'm going down to the river, get down on my knees and pray. I'm gonna pray for redemption, see the light within. Pray for redemption, have a better rope again. Pray for the blind man that he may walk in light. Pray that you and I may lead a righteous life. I'm going down, 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 down to the river, baby.
You don't have to be back at it exactly. But when you've got on the boat, I'm going to get the van. Right, and I've got your long stick. You leaders. Right. Excuse me, darling, please. There we go. There we go. Are you all right? It's all right. Good.
Okay, somebody. You do something.
That way. Hold me back, please. That's absolutely wonderful. Just move back to the boat, please.
Happiness, perfect time.